Non-Americans, what is something that you notice right away about us that instantly makes you know we're American? Apart from being loud, feeling the need to speak in a very jolly humorous way. Americans can seem to just say what it is they need or want without letting out a giggle or gradual comically inflection in their voice. It's like everything they say they're expecting a jolly little exchange with a big corny grin on their face. It's okay to just say what you need to say or ask what you need to ask. It's almost as if they want to let you know they are completely harmless or friendly, like a pathetic little dog asking for attention. Super loud, the shoes? And definitely the way you dress, either things most people wouldn't be wearing outside of their own home or these typical European fashion things you see on social media that nobody would wear here. And in some cases, incredible entitlement, for example in lines at the airport when they can't believe they can enter through the EU line, or in cafes in small towns where the waiter's English isn't good. But that's more an exception. The way they wear the weight when they're obese. Obesity is a problem just about everywhere, but for some reason Americans seem to wear a disproportionate amount in the lower body and the thighs especially, giving them a weird waddle when they walk. I'm assuming there must be something different about their diet that causes this, but I'm not sure what. Seems like it probably contributes to mobility issues at lower weights than it otherwise would. Yeah, it's defo been said already, but the baseball caps. I'm British, and the only time you ever really see British people wearing caps is in the summer if they're like abroad or it's specifically hot and they're at the beach or on the walk, so want to keep their head shaded. The whole thing of like wearing baseball caps at any time of year and inside especially is super American and singles you out immediately. I'm an American who lived in Ireland a few years. I could spot other Caucasian Americans immediately because they have a darker skin tone from living in a sunnier climate. Also because they wore more casual clothing. The times have changed and all of us pretty much get the same clothes from the same manufacturers. Also, USA is massive and hard to lump everyone into one genre. Regional differences are real. Baseball hats, all the time, everywhere. Sport clothing all the time. Especially if it's combined with the hat. Women will be wearing flip-flops and full makeup. Bonus if they are also wearing sport clothing. The sunglasses, similar to those that you would use if you were cycling. I'm sure people from other countries also wear them, but every time I've seen someone with them it was an American. So I live in America but I'm originally from Europe, but I can always tell an American by the way you use your silverware. Americans will hold their knife in their dominant hand and fork in their offhand, cut their food, then set down the knife and switch hands with the fork. Canadians do it too. When I visit family in Serbia, everyone uses their fork in their offhand all the time. Clothing: we generally dress much funkier than Europeans. We're also generally fatter and will clearly be suffering from the exertion of having to spend a whole day walking places instead of driving. Loudness: we're loud people. Entitlement: Americans expect to get American-style service when in other countries where that's not the norm. It's the eyes glow. A lot of you I have seen have that confused look on your face, like you are on another world. It's like you are confused not because everything is so different, but rather because everything is so similar and it's like you expect it to be worse but it isn't. It's quite cute actually. Reddit loves every chance it can have to generalize lol. Well, at least I know if I ever went to Europe, I wouldn't be instantly recognized as American, until I spoke. I don't wear hats, sportswear, white socks, sunglasses, don't lean on things, and I'm not loud. Literally the only answer is here. I watched a spy video and this retired CIA spy said how Europeans stand straight with weight evenly balanced, whereas Americans tend to balance on one foot and lean against things. It can be super nuanced. For me, it's those A's. Hot ooze. SA chopping. The out. It's a giveaway. When you're selling an item within a subreddit, you never mention what country you're in. Europeans, Australians, Asians, whatever they're selling, they mention where they're based. I always know the location is mainland USA if op doesn't mention the location. Your total belief that America is the best and center of the world when actually most people would hate to live there due to their immortal world wars, poor politics, gun crime and aggressive police force, and the whole ethnic cleansing of the natives. Talking on the internet with no context whatsoever. There's a thing I've seen a lot of American people do on the internet, where they simply post something assuming everyone on the internet is American and will understand whatever they are saying. Y'all brush your teeth after you eat breakfast. Or sometimes don't even brush in the morning at all. Another thing I've noticed about Americans is that a fair number of them actually floss their teeth and or brush at night. Very good habit. Baseball hat, combo with glasses in the summer. A t-shirt jumper with the name of your hometown or team on it. Or if you've been to a souvenir shop you'll be wearing Ireland. hiking boots in the city or socks with sandals. Loudons. Canada, here how rude you are. I was literally at a McDonald's, and I instantly knew that this woman was American because she literally just got up and left, leaving her garbage on the table for one of the employees to clean up. Lack of knowledge of tap. As a Canadian, I was shook when I learned tap isn't very common at all in the US. Up here it's like, what do you mean you don't have tap? Had to explain to my friend how to use it and he was like, what? Some people have really strong accents, which is how we can tell in certain pronunciation on certain words. For example, Americans say mom whilst an European person would say mum, mother, mama. That's another way we can tell. Volume. Outdoor voice is used indoors. No concept of privacy or discretion. Not everyone you meet wants to know your medical history. Baseball hats indoors. Wearing sports shoes everywhere. Men in shorts. Have I said loud? I remember being in a restaurant in Rome and hearing a man loudly exclaim he just wanted somewhere to get a couple of burgers when the waiter showed him the menu. Didn't even need to look up to know he was American. Smiley face. Everything related to ancestry, like DNA tests and I'm Italian even though I've never lived in Italy and can't speak a word of the language. Also, miles, feet, inches, gallons and all that nonsense. Not knowing nothing about the rest of the world and seem to be proud of it. Also really proud to speak only one language and make fun of the English accent of people who can speak 5 other languages. Baseball cap, sunglasses, a beard and a bit on the heavier side. Also, backpacks. Comes with sharing, I guess, but backpacks are always a big giveaway. And the way you take in the sights around you. On YouTube videos, you're not going 300 mph, there's no way, look at the lines, they're not even solid. Fake. The rest of the world replying back. That's kilometers per hour. American exceptionalism. The assumption that everything American is the best, superior. Doesn't even have to be overt, sometimes it's a subtle assumption. Other times, not so subtle. I'm American, but speak fluent French due to family. I get mostly ID'd as Canadian or Russian, but that's after many years of living abroad and trying to get rid of my US markers. Trash. Whenever I hear someone refer to trash or a trash can, I assume they're American. Also, zip. Most of the English-speaking world does not use zip to refer to postal codes. American but lived in multiple countries over 15 years. Always clothes, either brands when in Europe or quality compared to locals in South America. Few other tells as well. Online, color versus color, armor versus armor, etc., referring to political things as Democratic versus Republican, either really racist, xenophobic, or trying really hard not to be. As an American abroad, I was identified by having buttons on the collar of my formal shirts, i.e. little buttons on the tips of the collar to hold it down. Everyone is saying baseball caps. So do European balding men, particularly the younger ones, embrace it more or just wear different kinds of hats? Given the number of times this question has already been asked, lack if using a search bar or Google to get the answers that are already given. You ask, how are you? When you first meet a person and don't expect an answer to that question. Also, only people from USA say, are you all set? Your terrible attitudes. Californians in particular are the worst of the bunch. Even though those cunts preach that they are friendly people. Older male tourists are always wearing denim jeans. The older women tourists are typically in leisure wear with immaculate makeup and hair. I'm American, but the CIA had to tell their officers not to lean on anything because apparently that's a thing that we only do in America. What I've learned from this comment section. US Americans are loud. I kinda wonder if we're considered louder than Chinese tourists. The exaggerated happiness, and basically everything, from your clothes to your feelings, feels fake. Also, crazy loud and dramatic. A lot of non-Americans are saying speaking English. In English. Which kinda proves that it's not as crazy as an assumption. I've heard Americans lean on things when standing still. I'd quite this popped in my head, but I'm going to start looking around. Trying to pay everything in dollars. Some places just won't take them at all, the others are screwing you with exchange rates. Your flag is always somewhere on or around you. On your car, your cap, swimwear, beach towel, t-shirt, tattoos, etc. I went to 2 different counters in Asia and I stood out cause of how FK and loud I was, even when I was being quiet. Your epidemic reaction to the word socialism. And before you jump on me, that's not an opinion on socialism XD. Fat and wearing slogan shirts or sport jerseys while drinking Budweiser or Coke. Talking loud to get attention. Americans talk really loudly. No matter which country I go to, I can hear American tourists from a mile away. You assume everyone else is also American. Also the insistence on spelling words differently and correctly. Can hear you from several towns away. Seriously guys, lower your damn voices. You all talk so fucking loud. As an American, Europeans told me it was our shoes and teeth. An Asian person said we all smell like milk, because only an American would put this question out there. No other country cares what you think of them. Whenever you guys ask about us Canadians living in igloos, smiley face, smiley face. No, we live in regular houses just like you. It's like, saying that's amazing awesome is a response to something very mundane. I don't understand the lyrics but I love this song on YouTube every time it isn't in English. I can't tell American men by the way they walk. Kinda knees and hips leading the way. 90 accurate, ha! I lived in Europe for a lot of my life, and in multiple countries. Dead giveaway shoes. When talking about products, naming a specific brand instead of just a generic type or category. A lack of fluency in the metric system? Using Fahrenheit to talk about the weather especially. As a bald man, I feel called out by the baseball cap comments. I don't want go get sunburned, disappointed face. Why doesn't anyone speak English here? I have actually seen this happen more than once. They are loud, often much larger than average, and aren't interested in learning anything new. The way you dress. That's not a good bad shot at Americans. I can just normally tell by that. We hear you before we see you, so the noticing part is already done by the time we see you. Loud, ignorant and entitled attitudes. Thinking that everywhere works like the US does. Inability to tell the difference between the continent and the country you live in.